Hello everyone, George Chesnut here at St. Peter and St. Paul Episcopal Church, and we're going to talk for a little bit about the hymns for Sunday, the 11th of October. We begin on this date with number 383, Fairest, Lord Jesus. This is one of the greatly beloved hymns of the Christian faith, and my bet is that it's familiar to most of us from childhood. It's a personal favorite of mine because of the emotionally stirring quality of the tune, and also because of its description of the Lord Jesus as the ultimate beauty, fairer and finer than all other things we can imagine. Now, I'm going to let you in on a secret. The editors of hymnals don't always know everything they'd like us to think they know. The text of this hymn is one of those situations. No one knows the real source of this text except that it is a composite of anonymous writings from German, probably over a long period of time. The English translation we're familiar with was first published in 1850 in New York. The sources I consulted did not give the name of a translator. There's an old and unreliable legend that text and tune both date back to the 12th century Crusades, which would be almost impossible to be true. However, because of this legend, the tune was formerly called Crusaders' Hymn, but this title has almost completely fallen out of use. In 1862, the great Franz Liszt used this tune in his oratorio, The Legend of St. Elizabeth, and this gave the tune the name St. Elizabeth, which is used in our hymnal and almost all other modern hymnals as well. The tune is probably an 18th century tune from Silesia, parts of which today are divided among Poland, Germany, and the Czech Republic. But I think you can see from this information there's a lot we just plain don't know. But that's okay. It is still a splendid and beautiful hymn. Our sequence hymn today will be number 316. This is the hour of banquet and of song. Do you guys pronounce that banquet or banquet? I never know. But anyway, this time I decided I'd say banquet. So, this is a Eucharistic hymn, giving deep thanks for the priceless gift of Holy Communion. The author was a Scotsman, Horatius Bonar, from Edinburgh. He was educated at the University of Edinburgh and in 1837 was ordained to the ministry of the Church of Scotland. Now, unlike England, whose established church is Anglican, the established church in Scotland is Presbyterian. That's an important distinction to make. Not many people are aware of that. In 1843, Horatius Bonar left the Church of Scotland for a splinter group, the Free Church of Scotland. Bonar was a man of great learning and wide culture. His sermons and theological writings were widely circulated and were influential. He is also remembered as the author of a great many hymns, a significant number of which are still in use. If you look for his name in the indices of our hymnal, you'll find that he crops up several times. Canticum Refectionis is the tune to which This Is the Hour is widely sung, and my educated guess as to the translation of the Latin words of that title is Song for Eating or Song for Dining. The composer was David McKinley Williams, born in Wales in 1887. He was brought to the United States as a child and lived in a variety of places, Colorado and New York among them. In 1911, Williams went to Paris to study with some of the leading French organists of the day, and upon returning to North America, served in the Canadian military during World War I. He became, after the war, the chair of the organ department at the famous Juilliard School in New York City, and also taught at the Union Theological Seminary. For many years, he was director of music at the renowned St. Bartholomew's Episcopal Church in New York. David McKinley Williams died in Oakland, California in 1978. as our closing hymn in the lineup for the 11th of October, we have number 556, Rejoice Ye Pure in Heart. This is one of a category of hymns singing God's praises, which we might call marching hymns. I'm sure you can think of several from your childhood. We're Marching to Zion popped into my head from my experience that I loved so much in United Methodist Sunday School. The author of this text is Edward Hayes Plumptre, who was born in London in 1821. He was educated at King's College, London, and University College, Oxford, and was ordained in the Church of England in 1846. He achieved renown in both church circles and in academia, and his numerous writings, religious poems, and hymns were widely respected and used. Rejoice Ye Pure in Heart is sung to the tune Marian, which was composed specifically to go with this text. The composer was Arthur Henry Messager, born in England in 1834. The name Marian is that of a woman dear to him. Some sources say his wife, some say his mother. Messager immigrated to the United States in 1863 and lived first in Philadelphia. Later, he had a long and distinguished career as the organist and choirmaster at Trinity Episcopal Church, New York City. This is one of the hymns in which our hymnal gives us an option of a long or a short form. If you see little stars, asterisks beside some verses of a hymn, this is telling you that those may be omitted without doing violence to the sense and meaning of the text. And since this one runs to 7 verses, I'm going to exercise that option, and we'll just do 5. I think that will be quite plenty. Thank you, friends. I hope you are finding these informational videos just that, informational and educational, but also, I hope, a source of fun. And most of all, a source of deeper connection to our church and her worship. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.